Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our daily get-together live here on Facebook every day at 10:30 in the morning, where we take a look at headlines, stories, comments, suggestions, tips, and ideas to have a most awesome live here in Puerto Vallarta as an English-speaking community. It is always a pleasure to hang out with you guys every morning at 10:30 because I learned so much from each and every one of you and hope to provide information that will make your lives in Puerto Vallarta better. If you are new to these broadcasts, my name is Paco, and we'd love to find out about you. So feel free to let us know that you're new by writing the word new in your comment, and we'll give you a proper welcome. And look at all of you. Oh my God, the comments are just moving right along. And I see some questions, and I see some questions that have the letter Q already. It always helps when your questions have the letter Q before the question, such as this one, which is an important question. And we're going to answer this question today. Is there going to be a parade for Day of the Dead? The sad news is that no. All the Day of the Dead celebrations have finally been canceled. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about other important headlines, and we're going to bring up a very important topic that one of you brought up yesterday at the end of the broadcast, and it is one in which I have a certain opinion, and I don't know if it's a good or a bad opinion, and I'm going to hope that with your own opinion we'll be able to provide a nice, well-grounded point of view, and this has to do with gift giving. But we'll get to that in the second half of the show. First of all, let me very quickly take a look at who's here and who's not. I always enjoy this part of the program because I run into friends that I know and friends that I'm looking forward to knowing. Let's see. Mike is in Chicago. Terry is in Nuevo Vallarta. This is great. My computer's a little slow today. I hope it's not going to be one of those crazy days. Dina was in Facebook jail. I wonder what you did, Dina, to get onto Facebook jail. Nothing really bad, I hope. Let's take a quick look. La 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 la. And of course, Paul is in Boston, and Angelica Vargas is with us. All kinds of good, wonderful friends that we see just about every morning. So we might as well get started with the news today. Interesting. Bill tried the new menu last night at Poblanos. Excellent meal and service. This is good to know. Fantastic. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed the dishes that I was able to try. James asks if he can buy me a cup of coffee. If you mean an actual cup of coffee, we can certainly try to make our schedules collide or coincide rather. When I invite people to buy me coffee, it is through this wonderful website called buymeacoffee.com, where creators like myself can actually raise funds for the work that we do, and this is how we support this program. Anyhow, oh, Houston is here twice. Twice. Houston here. Welcome, Houston. It's great to see you. Oh my goodness. Good morning from Vancouver. Moving to PV tomorrow. I love the way this is just dropped. If I was going to move to another city or another country the following day, I would be a mess. I would be drinking lots of red wine. I hope your move is going to be effortless, Shimon, and I hope your choice is a good one, and I hope you will love our destination. Let's get going with our headlines because we have a lot of stuff to cover. Boom. Well, as I mentioned yesterday and the day before and a few days ago, I've been keeping my eyes open for cancellations for Day of the Dead because I know the celebration is coming and it is very important to many of us. And now it is official. We've received notification from the state government, the state health secretary, that all public altars, all public celebrations for Day of the Dead are going to be suspended, and the local cemeteries are going to be closed on October 31st, on November 1st, and 2nd. The only thing that will be allowed in cemeteries is to bury people that have passed. This is very very sad because we get really excited when we enjoy our Day of the Dead celebrations here in town. What does that actually mean? Well, I am sure that businesses will organize their own Day of the Dead / Halloween shindigs. I've already received a couple of invites through Facebook to attend Day of the Dead or Halloween celebrations. There are some local shops along Basilio Vadillo. I think Cassandra Shaw does this in her jewelry shop, where they organize face painting parties. And I don't know that this is going to actually happen or not, because of course local businesses, if you're a business, you can organize whatever you want in your business, but you are still going to have to abide by the safety guidelines. It's not like you can all of a sudden invite dozens and dozens of people into your shop. So it is very sad. It is very sad, but it is what we need to do to protect ourselves and our loved ones. And I am sure that there are people like Bev who has canceled Winter in PV. I am really sorry to hear that, Bev. I want you to know, Bev, and I want you to know anyone who is waffling about being here or not being here. Ultimately, you want to be where you feel safe. And for some people, being here is safe. For others, being elsewhere is safe. So ultimately, make plans to be where you feel safe. And that's the most important thing to do. Let me take a quick look at any other comments about this. Li la li la li la li la li la 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 li la 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 li la li la la. I'll buy you a virtual cup, but would love to hang out with you over a real cup as well if you're available. James, I would love to do that. If your schedule happens to coincide with mine, let's make it so. Absolutely. And what you say is true. I mean, Pátzcuaro and Janitzio are about the most important places where Day of the Dead is celebrated, along with Mexico City. And I do have a Mexico City headline. In fact, it was the Mexico City headline that I was going to show you yesterday, but all of a sudden we realized that Puerto Vallarta had canceled as well. This is very, very unfortunate. And it is sad for the families because a lot of people that enjoy the tradition. Oh, Tricia is in the house. Tricia, I am so very happy that you're here, and I certainly hope that you can stay until the end of the program because we're going to tackle a very important topic, and I am sure you will have a well-grounded point of view to share with others. I'm so glad that you're here. La 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 na 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 na. We did face painting with Cassandra last year. It was a lot of fun. Yes, it is very, very sad. So many people enjoy Day of the Dead because it is a very different celebration. No other country has something like we have. Anyhow, let me continue with the headlines that I have put together for you. Um, Oh, of course, we have canceled Day of the Dead, but it is good to know that the Papantla Flyers are back on the Malecon. This is another local tradition that has become extremely popular. The story behind the Papantla Flyers, for those of you that don't know, it is a traditional celebration that comes from Papantla, Veracruz. And they go on top of this pole, which is located on the beach, and they get all the way up there and they perform a ritual celebration, and then they let themselves um, fly down and they go around suspended by their feet. Yes, upside down, and then they come down to the ground. I don't know the very traditional, specific information about the origin of the traditional celebration of the Papantla Flyers. I have made myself a note to research this, to talk about this at some point in the near future, so that we can all understand why these guys are attempting everything against um, getting sick doing this. Jesus. On another interesting note, there is an initiative in Mexico's government to forbid smoking on the beach, along with the sale of tobacco and cigarettes on the beach. On the beach. Beach. Oh my God, those two words are so easy to confuse. This initiative comes from deputies from the Morena Party and the Green Party. They are proposing this initiative before Congress. So it is yet to be seen whether Congress will actually move forward with this particular initiative. Personally, I don't mind people that smoke cigarettes on the beach. I figured as long as they're far away from me, I'm not a cigarette smoker. I'm not crazy about cigarette smoke. It doesn't really bother me. What bothers me is all the cigarette butts that are left behind on the beach. So we'll have to see what happens with this particular law. Yesterday, we talked about this new business of a committee of citizens that would become vigilantes of whether the safety protocols are being followed um, here in Puerto Vallarta and in the rest of the state. And today we learn that these so-called civilian inspectors that will be all over the state watching whether businesses and people are following guidelines will come first and foremost from chambers of commerce, industrial chamber, and restaurant chamber. That sounds so fishy to me. This is something I have to react to this bit of news because it does sound like if people from the same business council, like is someone from the restaurant, I don't know. I mean, this whole business of people um, civilians monitoring whether businesses are following the guidelines or not because the government is maxed out in their ability to do so seems a little fishy to me. We'll just have to see how this is all implemented. Pretty bizarre. Um, a few days ago, I mentioned that the committee in the local government that is in charge of authorizing liquor licenses was a little bit behind. They had not met to authorize new licenses in Puerto Vallarta for a few years, and they have now met and they have approved over they've approved 282 liquor licenses and some modifications of business type and so forth and so on. It is sad to see that 25 businesses who were waiting for their liquor license have already closed because of the pandemic. Let us hope that this is not something that happened to a lot of businesses. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, this might be important to some people. Volaris, the airline, the national airline, is giving away a bunch of flights, 399 pesos to fly from other parts of Mexico to Puerto Vallarta to reactivate tourism. This is an announcement made by the General Director of the airline, Enrique Beltranena. They're going to offer 700,000 tickets with Puerto Vallarta as a destination in 399 pesos one way until the end of 2020. And they will offer up to October of 2021 another 400,000 tickets with ticket prices of 699 pesos and $89 to fly to Puerto Vallarta and Rivera Nayarit, plus 14,000 vouchers valued at 1,000 pesos so that hotel owners in Puerto Vallarta can offer them to their guests as a low-cost alternative to fly to Puerto Vallarta. No information is being provided as to who, how, when, and where these tickets are going to be offered, but chances are that the information will be offered in the Volaris website. And with this, we are reaching our leisurely part of the program. So let me take a quick look at your comments to see what we have going on. Dee-da-dee-da-da. Ay-ay-ay. Ay-ay-ay. Yay-yay-yay. Paul offers an interesting perspective. Cemeteries are open every other day of the year, so the decision is to avoid agglomerations of people in those days. Absolutely. Of course, most people would want to go see their loved ones on the particular day of the celebration, but it is good to see that the local government is looking after our well-being. Let's see. My wife and kids are going to PV. The bad news is that my doctor said I have to stay home. Oh, that is bad news. That is unfortunate. I certainly hope you're able to join them virtually, and I certainly hope that your wife and kids will have a wonderful time down here. James would like to learn more about the Papantla Flyers, and I noticed that one of you offered a big paragraph of information. I will definitely be doing some research on that. And there you are, poking at beach and bitch. It's a tough one, you guys. It is a tough one. I remember when I was living in Boston, I used to work at a copy place, copy as in photocopies, and we used to offer collated sets of copies, and the place would offer colored pieces of paper between each set of copies so that you could know where your document ends and begins. And we used to call those slip sheets. And saying that those two words together fast is also quite difficult. But beach and bitch, that is a tough one. That is a tough one on a Mexican mouth, I tell you. Marijuana on the beach, well, been there, done that, but it's the cigarette butts that are the big problem. It is the cigarette butts, absolutely. Question, I keep getting kicked out. Is anybody else having this issue? I hope it's not widespread. And I'm sorry to hear that others are being frozen. My internet's a little wonky this morning, so I hope it's not a widespread situation. Let's see. Let me continue with our headlines. Before that, I'm going to say good morning to Glee. Good morning, Glee. Anyhow, let's see what else we have. Oh, it's time to go to the weather and then to the leisurely stuff. Here we go. Bam. And here we are. It's time to discuss the weather. Let me put it in front of me so that I can talk about it. 29 degrees feels like 36 Fahrenheit is 85. Humidity is at 82%. Zero chance of rain right now. And the weather forecast seems to be humid and partly cloudy for today, Friday. Humid and partly cloudy for tomorrow. And humid through the day. And yes, today is Friday. I forgot all about that. And I even set up a song.
Thank God it's
Yeah, Disco Friday. Anyhow, I want to get into, before we move on to other important stuff, I want to bring up a great question that somebody brought up yesterday. And I don't have a good answer for this. I have a very specific opinion. I don't know that there's right or wrong, but this has to do with holiday gift giving in Mexico. The question came from Robert. Can you talk about Christmas in Vallarta and the gifting that goes on at the beach and around town? First time to be there at Christmas, or point me to a website. Thank you. I just want to be prepared and participate. Well, first of all, let me tell you what I know and what I think, and then I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this, because I think this is very important and very huge. I know that there are groups of folks from the English-speaking community that traditionally give gifts to children on the beach. This is a self-organized initiative. I don't know who does it. I don't know how it got started, but I read about it. I also know that a lot of nonprofits have gift giving initiatives during the holiday season. And I think gift giving is an awesome thing. But the question for me has to do with what kind of message is being put out there when you are a young kid or you are a family and you go to the beach because you have this expectation that a bunch of foreigners are going to come here and save the day for you. And I have often wondered if this just sends the wrong message to young kids, that there's going to be some kind of foreign entity that is going to save the day. I've also wondered if the business of gift giving randomly is something that makes the gift givers feel better about themselves and not really think about the cultural or sociological implications of the gift giving. Sometimes I think too much about this, but sometimes I think it's not necessarily a good thing. So I put it out to you, dear community. A lot of you are here. I certainly hope that people that are spokespeople for other communities like Tricia or other folks that have given gifts during the holiday season before will be willing to chime in on how to gift responsibly, because ultimately, and this is a very strange year too, we're in the middle of this pandemic and we've never had this situation before. And ultimately, I'm just hoping that somebody will offer some great suggestions. For example, I know that CTAC, the local AIDS organization, they set up drop boxes in different businesses for people to be able to drop gifts for children. And then they have a traditional Christmas posada for children that are either HIV positive or the parents of children who are HIV positive. So that is one way to go about it. But of course, then there are other people who wish to have this one-on-one experience with local kids. Look, I brought you a present kind of thing. So that's all I'm going to say about this. I'm going to give you a couple of other headlines, and then I would like to come back and rewind your comments here and see just what everybody is thinking about. There you go. So that was what's on my mind. That's what's on my mind. I am hoping that you will chime in. And meanwhile, I'm going to move into other things. Let's take a look. Today happens to be International Bread Day. So I did a little bit of homework and I tried to find articles in English about Mexican breads. And I found this one that I'm going to share with you that shows some of the most popular Mexican style breads that you can enjoy here in Mexico, and the story behind them. I'm going to leave a link for this article for you. As you know, wheat did not exist in the Americas. We are a corn-based civilization, and it was the Spaniards who brought wheat to Mexico, and then, of course, it was the French that came with the Spaniards that brought the whole bakery tradition from France to Mexico. And bread is wonderful. I love bread. If bread is in your diet, today would be a good day to walk into a traditional panaderia and enjoy some bread. This was so funny because yesterday somebody from the community sent me a personal message about this wonderful segment that was featured on PBS, the news hour yesterday, that has to do with muralism in Mexico and how the traditional painting murals has existed for many, many years, and how it continues to exist through some of the more contemporary muralists that are doing work beautifying everywhere. So the segment is quite awesome. We know that here in Puerto Vallarta, we are fortunate to have a handful of very skilled artists that are commissioned on a regular basis to paint building facades in our city. And we are absolutely fortunate to have this happening in our city. Gift giving. Don't stop thinking about this because we're going to come back. Despite the fact that Day of the Dead is canceled, of course, you go into Mexican marketplaces, and one of the most popular costumes you can get this year is a COVID costume. Check it out. You can be a virus this year if you want. This COVID costume is essentially a green head chingadera to cover your face and a green t-shirt. And if you go to if you go to Home Depot and you purchase some of this yellow danger tape, you could actually make your own COVID costume this year if you want to do that. And I wonder whether the COVID costume or the fly on the head, you've got a fly on your head, is going to be the most popular costume this year. I am not sure where this year is going to go. Moving right along, oh my God, this one has absolutely nothing to do with anything. But when I read this, I figured, what the fuck? This was a total what the fuck moment. Where is our what the fuck friend? Let's invoke him. Yes, what the fuck? Hormel, which is an American bacon making company, is having some kind of sweepstakes so that you can win, get this, a bacon scented face mask. I mean, who the hell would want to go through life? I mean, I love bacon, don't get me wrong. Bacon, I love my bacon. And Candace, that's your cue to say something about vegans. Come on, Candace. I just said bacon. Anyhow, Hormel is making some kind of sweepstakes so that you can win a bacon scented face mask. No, thank you. I'm just going to say no, thank you. And then I want to tell you about this social distance series coming to Netflix. It is done by the same team that brought us Orange is the New Black. And it is an anthology of situations. And I think I saw the trailer, which I'm going to share the bookmark for. And it is filmed as if you were looking at a series of Zoom conversations and whatnot. Of course, it might be thought-provoking. We may enjoy watching it. We may not enjoy being reminded of our day-to-day. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm going to leave this with you so that you can take a look at it if you choose to do so. And last but not least, I'm going to give you the link for 8 things to do this weekend, as we try to do every weekend. And this comes to us courtesy of the New York Times. And that wraps up the content for Coffee and Headlines. Now I really want to go back and rewind your comments briefly to see what kind of insight you came up with about this business of gift giving. Let's see what's on your mind. La 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 la. Michael loved Disco Friday. I bet you danced to that wearing roller skates at some point in your youth. I know I did. And I said roller skates, not ice skates, roller skates. Angelica provides very good advice. There are a lot of charities that get together to give the orphans and places where families can't afford toys for the kids. So what I'm hearing here is check with local charities that are organizing specific gift giving events. And of course, we're going to bring this up again. This is only October, and I'm sure we're going to get some headlines at some point. What about giving to the food pantry? This is always a good idea. Another thing that comes to mind is getting in touch with a local school and asking people, what kind of things do your kids need? I know that food, school supplies are not necessarily the hottest gift, but this could be important. Lynn reflects on the Puerto Vallarta Food Bank. Chances are that they're going to be organizing something to that effect. Steve comments on disco. Did you have platform shoes, Steve? I dare to confess I owned platform shoes when I was a teenager, and I will regret every single day of my life that I threw them out. I mean, wouldn't I love to have somewhere in my closet those platform shoes just to have them. True charity or giving is anonymous. That is an interesting and very true comment. Supporting local businesses and charities is a great option. Michal offers another point of view. It can come across as insulting or condescending. Yes, I also fear that. And yes, I mean, maybe the best thing to do is to give it to a charity, because a charity will be better equipped to know how to handle the gifts responsibly. Of course, that doesn't offer much comfort to the people that want to have the actual experience of giving the gift to a child. But again, I'm sure that charities offer these kinds of opportunities. And I'm sure, again, that this information will come forth as we get closer to the date. How about giving Despensa food kit boxes? Well, there's the good and the bad of that. Despensas are good for families. Kids, they want their toy. They want their gift. And I can't disregard that. The smile on a kid when they receive a present, it is absolutely priceless. Toys for Tots is a holiday charity in the States. Of course it is. But Toys for Tots is a charity in the States, not in Mexico. Although I do believe that Toys for Tots has a charity here in Mexico. I'm not sure how they are organized to do what they do. Michael chimes in. Sometimes people give gifts to make themselves feel better than to the person they are giving the gift to. And again, it has to do with children knowing the difference. I mean, if you feel better by gifting me something, you're welcome to do that. Trust me, I will have no problem with that. But it's children we're talking about. Dr. Felipe Arce chimes in. It hasn't been studied, but it is possible. I mean, it's a big cultural can of worms. I believe so. Michael, as always, wants music. I love it. I love it, Michael. I love it when you say that. You can teach a child to read. It is more meaningful than a Barbie. Again, I agree, Julie, but I mean, if I approach a child and I say to him, my gift to you this year is going to be teaching you how to read. Well, as an adult, um, I understand that and I appreciate the value of that, but I fear that the child might react like the parrot we just showed and go like, "What the fuck," you know. Um, Paul chimes in. Oh my God, bread has a day. Yes, bread has a day, and that day is today. Um, Today is the day. And of course, Raymond, who has a bakery in town, says bread is good. Yes, bread is good. Bread is our friend. Uh, you guys like bread. I love it. I love it. Yes. Unless you're the one trying to raise donations for a charitable effort, had to be anonymous in that case, having raised about 40,000 and delivered over 8,000 food baskets since April. I can say that it has been possible only because of my wide circle of contacts and friends who have given generously. Yes, absolutely. Hats off to Paul and his team that have raised so much money to provide despensas, food baskets for those in need. Um, Michael thinks it's best to give of oneself daily to the community. I want my opera recital. Give to me, Michael. Give to me. No, seriously. I mean, Michael, you could go and sing for kids. You can go and sing for kids. I'll set up the repertoire for you. For you, none of that. Play that funky music. We have to think about different songs if you're going to sing for kids. Michal had the "Thank God It's Friday" album. I think it's that album you're talking about. I'm not entirely sure. Um, La la li la 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 li la 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 la. Casa Bellavista. Lynn loves all the stunning murals in PV. Absolutely, and there's a couple of muralists out there that I would love to talk about at some point. Um, Dr. Felipe Arce liked my remark, my green face chingadera remark. Chingadera is such a wonderful word. I just love to reach out to it whenever I possibly can. Um, uh, Don is happy that I kept the parrot. Oh, girl, let me tell you, we're going to be invoking that parrot whenever it is needed. Love it. Oh, Greg, Trisha chimes in. I love this because Trisha is the mother of all communities here and in Puerto Vallarta. So she always has important advice to offer. Um, Trisha just said she got very mixed feelings last year participating in a posada for children and families who lost everything in Chimo. Again, there's no right or wrong. There is no right or wrong here. And I just want to make sure that if you're going to pack chingaderas, for lack of a better word, no, seriously, if you're going to pack gifts in your bag this year to bring down, that is great. Please don't stop from doing that. But consider the possibility of doing some research ahead of time, finding out how they're going to be gifted and whether there's an agency that you can rely on. If you have to have the one-on-one experience, let us try to come up with some research so that we can make responsible giving a priority this year. That's my only wish. And I am, as always, grateful to learn your points of views, and because your points of views educate me, and that's absolutely wonderful. Dr. Felipe Arce is on his way. Thank you very much for your comments, and we are wrapping up the show as I speak. Let's see if we have anything else. Oh my God, I'm skipping through a lot of really wonderful suggestions. So I am absolutely grateful for. Oh, that's lovely. That's a great holiday tradition, Terry. I'll drink to that. No, seriously, I very much enjoy this aspect of this community and other communities. It is such a pleasure to see that your thoughtfulness is present in your comments. I love how engaged you are. And with that in mind, I think it is a great moment to wrap up things here at Coffee and Headlines for today. As always, It is your comments and your questions that nurture this website. I mean, this episode and these programs that we put together. I am very grateful for them. I'm grateful for your generosity, and I'm grateful for those of you that continue to support Coffee and Headlines either through occasional buymeacoffee.coms or through a membership. It all goes to help Luna and I bring you as many connections to our destination as possible on a regular basis. As always, I hope you have a great day. I hope you have an awesome weekend. Stay happy, stay kind, stay generous, and of course, stay in touch. I will see you again tomorrow. Have a great one.